Last time on Colony Confidential.
When you go out with your friends in the same business as we're in, how are they managing?
So, some of them, one person I know has 90% of their staff was already vaccinated. He does have an older staff, which is another issue that he's dealing with. We just spoke about it. My guys are vaccinated, but they're breaking down. Who's out with a hip replacement? Who's out with a knee replacement? Who had a heat stroke in the summer, whatever the case is. People in majority residential haven't really seen it yet. Our friend in Pennsylvania he's gotten some mandates sent to him. He's gotten a mandate on a Monday. Started to try and maneuver about it from one of his accounts. NPMA did a big webinar on this, and I was a little disappointed with that webinar, to be honest, because they didn't have anybody from New York City or California, which, if you follow anything on the news, we're ground zero for everything, including mandates. So it would have been nice to see somebody from New York on there or California. But yeah, people are getting ready for mandates. We're going to be going through a lot of what's going on in the current climate. The workforce, the thing about COVID is you kind of got to wake up every day and see what's going on, what's new, what's changed. I turned the TV on, the news was on, and they were talking about the possibility of scaling back vaccine mandates in restaurants. Now, it's news, it's on the TV, so whether it's true or not, I got to do some more digging, but it was the first thing I saw this morning. I watched the news last week, Monday, and so in New York City, restaurants, gyms, movie theaters, you can't get in without a vaccine, without showing proof of a vaccine. I turned on Channel 1, which is a local news station, and there was a representative from Broadway, from the theater, representing the theaters. I don't remember his title. But for Broadway, which is basically a live movie theater, they were allowing vaccines and or COVID testing within the past 48 hours. So that's a problem to a certain extent. So that's what I mean by everything changing. So it's crazy. Sheehan, you're not even thinking about any of this, are you?
Out of my league right now. No, I know about it. It's a concern. But trust in your hands that we will get through this. I just remember in...
Let me interrupt you quick. Guys, see this place right here?
Yeah.
We service this building. Everybody listening, you heard that? We service this building. It's a landmark in Manhattan.
Oh, wow.
This is our friend.
Which friend?
Sorry, everybody out there, P&Ps, just had to let the kids know, pointing out the window.
Yeah.
We service this location.
Yeah.
It's a landmark in New York City. We won't disclose the name.
We can't tell you.
But, yeah, sorry. Continue, sir. About you putting your trust in. This is recorded. He's putting his trust in.
Here's the thing. I just keep my pinky in enough to annoy Joey from time to time.
That's a fact.
But life is so good. I know it's going to sound boring. Taking care of my yard. I have a lot of plants and got to get my tomatoes. Yada, yada. Go to the beach. Meet my friend Danny for breakfast. My friend Norman for breakfast. I decided to go into my own business in 71. I had a lot of money saved, about $1,000. And it was like touch and go. I developed a macaroni and cheese, Dinty Moore beef stew, that was a treat, and Spam. I know, not bad. In any event, I found out in a local hospital, I won't mention their name, you could buy tickets for 25 cents and you got dinner. And I met people that on Thursday night didn't give me the liver. So I ate liver for a couple of days. Then I realized I think I'm going to make it. I always worked on a Saturday. Anyway, came home with $125 in cash. And I said, this is really good. Now, you have to remember, I left a job in a bank, taking home $68 a week and have to take the trains and you dress in a monkey suit. Anyway, I was very fortunate. I had a good work ethic, had a lot of energy. And the biggest problem I had was getting help and keeping them. I had, of course, you go to your friends. I had a guy that was...
I think that's everyone's problem. Getting help. It's the one thing throughout time that everybody's always said it's hard to find good people.
Yeah. So in the early days, we had the Jerry Ford recession, and at that time, I was like 90% residential. And a lot of my people lost their job, and I was like, oh, my God. But I always say now, I didn't say it then, but I did it. You got to turn adversity into advantage. And what that did to me is I started walking around passing out cards to all possible commercial accounts, and it could be very depressing. You give out so many cards and nothing happens. But what I found out, for every 40 or 50 cards I gave out, I would get one customer. So I kept walking, I kept counting the cards. Okay, that's 35. Sometimes you'd go to 70 and get nothing. Sometimes you'd go to 10 and get 3. So it was just grinding it out. We got out of Jerry Ford, and then bingo. All the interest rates went up. You couldn't get a loan for a house for 17%. Oh my God, that's terrible. I put money in the bank, and I was getting like 14% interest on my money. So there's another adversity into advantage. And then we progressed in the 1980s. I got a job in a hospital. I met Bob Norton, and a tough guy to work for. But once he saw we were doing a good job, he had some connections, and he led us into a lot more accounts. And he was a great guy for advice. He said, get yourself a really nice uniform, which I did. And Norton told me I had a couple of missing teeth, too many fights. And he told me to get my teeth fixed. And I don't know, just these people backing you up really helped me progress. And of course, you're always looking for employees. Even though you have enough, you're always looking for more, because somebody's going to leave, whatever the reason is. You're always looking for employees, and you're always learning about your trade. But at that time, everybody was learning in pest control, how do we kill things? What's the new insecticide? What's the new rodenticide? Today, it's a little different. There's more classes on how to run a business.
Ed just took you through about 20 years of business, and he gave you ups and downs that took place. And the moral to that, or the story to that, is don't give up. Keep going. You got to go through. If many of you remembered, and I may be living this for the next... There's a million different sayings that you could say. Don't give up. Keep going. Power through. There's ups and downs. There's ebbs and flows in business. We figure out a way. You could literally go back to 18 months ago, 15 months ago, March of 2020, when we all thought the world was going to end. And you're still here. I'm still here. As Mike Tyson said it best, there was a recurring theme there that is true to this day. Getting quality team members. And that's something that we always talk about. Step further and sharing it with you by doing these topics with Insperity. And Insperity, if you remember last year, we talked about team engagement. We talked about identifying quality team members, A players. We talked about a lot of stuff, and we're doing it again. We are sharing everything that we're learning, and what we're learning, nobody wants to fail, but it's really the best way to learn. It's okay to fail. It's okay. We've spoken about letting your team members fail, coaching them on whatever they need to do and improve. You got to remember that this is truly what the podcast was for. Yeah, it's fun, it's entertaining, there's shits and giggles that goes on between me and Ed, and we joke around. But really, at the end of the day, it's to support our fellow PMPs and entrepreneurs and home service professionals and help you learn from our mistakes and what we've done. Right and wrong, because sometimes what we've done wrong might be right for someone else. But anyway, it's all about learning, and our community. The community continues to grow. We are here for fun, but we are really here to help you grow and succeed in your business, succeed and work smarter. If you have any questions for the upcoming Q&A with Insperity, Colony Confidential at gmail.com is the best place to send your questions. They are all anonymous. We do not say who asked it. It's always funny meeting a pest management person.
You know what? Shane Kelly, he came over to me, and I guess he knew me and stuff, but he was very outgoing. But then he got into what he told me. He goes, "Oh, your son Joe's killing it, man. He's doing more than you now." I go, "Yeah." Wow. I said, yeah, things are rocky with the help and stuff, but you know what? He's managing. I even volunteered to go out and work 2 days.
Yeah, that's scary.
How'd that go? They turned me down. Joe, 2 days. Give me the hospital. I'm good at that. And
how are you gonna Pest Pack Mobile? You good with that?
No, I just give you the report on a cell phone. You got to work with me, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what? I would still say that I would make a big impression, favorable impression, and I could talk my way around. And
I have no doubt that it would be fine.
okay, I'm in the bullpen.
You know what actually might be fun even for you, and my team may not enjoy it? Maybe we'll put you back into your old role at some point, 2 days a week.
QA?
Yeah.
Oh no, they won't like that.
Listen, how about this? And a QA, I'll give you your own tablet, and it's all digital. You just do check, good, bad, a scale of 1 to 5, what is this at? And then you could type your own notes, and when you send it, it's automatic.
No X-rated verbiage?
No, come on. You have to be professional, but it goes to a box that the service manager then looks at and corrects. But that actually might not be a bad idea.
What's the pay?
We'll talk about that. How you doing on cigars?
I just got cigars from Rick.
All right.
Oh, and they're going to Cigar Fest too. You have to.
No vacations,
We have
QA.
to-
Not as a QA. You're brand new. You can't take a vacation until your first year is up.
That's the end of that job. No doubt about that. Yeah.
But if anybody's out there looking for a job, we are hiring.
We're always
sure.
we're always looking for good people.
What's up?
Oh, look at this. There's a guy urinating on the side of the road. Jeez, I wish I had a camera with
You
this.
could-
Oh my God.
He's wearing an old jersey too. The quarterback that we got rid of.
Yeah, can hear him sighing now. Oh God. I don't care if people are looking. Oh, let me turn the. Oh, got to put the worm in. Oh Jesus. Oh, he's a lot lighter.
You know what I'd like to hear from the listeners out there? Who they'd rather hear as a commentator for boxing? Ed Sheehan or Donald Trump recently has taken a step up from being the former president of the United States and is now commentating on Triller.
Oh, cool.
Triller boxing. So who do we want? Do we want Donald Trump or Ed Sheehan?
Go for me. I really don't care what I say.
How'd you do with the stuff that you figured out? Did you buy anything Paul was interested in?
Oh yeah. I bought some actual fuel companies, and now I'm looking at gold because after shedding many tears, I realized that cash is crap. Now, inflation is going to go sky high with our current administration and their policies.
You know what, though? Everyone keeps saying that, and I agree. I think inflation is upon us, but the government always tries to figure out a way to make it not happen, so we'll see what happens.
You got a problem coming up now in October. We want to expand the national debt like we don't have enough debt.
Well, it's either that or government shutdown.
Yeah.
And I think in the article that you subscribe to, that the guy had a very good point. Government shutdown is nothing new. It happened since the 70s.
Yes.
It happened every decade, multiple times.
Well, my advice on the stocks, don't be so quick to sell when they go down. That's the time to buy. You can have some bonds for safekeeping. They're pretty stable.
And look, right now, if you're heavy in stocks, everybody keeps saying there's a correction coming. I pulled a bunch of stuff out just because I'd rather have it in my savings account than lose it. So would you rather take 20% out now and pay capital gains on it, or watch your stock portfolio drop by 20%?
Yeah.
So just things to think of. If you're in it for the long haul, then you're in it for the long haul. Then basically turn it off and don't watch.
The other thing is, this is not for everybody, but at my stage, you get some stocks that pay dividends, and you get a nice check. Depends. Some of them send you a check every month. Some of them send you a check every 3 months.
Or like what I do, right? So this is a difference between whatever stage of life you're at. All my dividends get reinvested, all of them. So let's say Apple pays a dividend of X, whatever that is. Every time I'm supposed to get a dividend check, they buy more Apple stock. I'm buying more. Ed is in a different ballpark, right? And so he is taking those dividend checks and, to a certain extent, living off some of it or using it to maintain the lifestyle he's become accustomed to.
I don't take all the dividends because
You reinvest some of them?
a lot of them get reinvested.
Oh.
But it's just nice to get those checks. And again, and then you get to a certain age, you got to take something out of your IRA every month.
You have to take a mandatory amount annually, right?
Yeah.
Wah.
Yeah. But
What a problem to have,
But-
right? Being forced to take money out of your account because you're
then you
doing
can put
wrong.
it right back in.
Can you? That's so dumb.
Say, okay,
But they make you take it to pay the taxes.
Yeah, they take the tax and you put it back in.
So-
Well, maybe you keep it.
So
Whatever you
listen,
want.
The government always has an eye into your bank account. I just want to get back to that real quick. When you report your taxes, if you have stocks, if you have a bank account, most of that stuff is going on your taxes. So the government always sees it at the end of the year, no matter what. And then I'm sure they have some formula whether or not to further investigate you. No, they don't know if you have $1 million in a bank or $10 in a bank. However, they do over time when they see that you've made, just on your tax documents, it says you made X amount this year. Whether you spent it or not is another story, but they still know you made $10 or $10 million. So it's just one of those things.
Their hand in your pocket.
They'll always have their hand in your pocket for sure.
So for those of you that might want a dividend, I would recommend Mo, which is the name of the company is Altria. Yes, that was Philip Morris. They do still make cigarettes, but they also have companies that make a lot of snacks and whatever.
Just remember the disclaimer. Anything spoken about here is just our opinion. We don't necessarily encourage you to do it. It's you do what you want, and if you do well, God bless you. We don't need money, and if you don't do well, we also don't need a lawsuit.
Yeah. And then my new favorite one is Owl Capital.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of good stocks out there, but yeah. So anyway, the stock market is going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how the world plays out over the next 3 to 6 months.
Just remember, money is a tool. Use it.
Do you know that the amount of learner's permits is up 34% in New York City?
Learner's permits for cars?
Yes, and they're expecting New York to revert back to a driving city.
Yeah, they screwed up the subways stink.
I'm going to say. It's not just the subway, but let me get some of the numbers. I think there's a 24% increase of cars on the road in New York. This is all New York City stats. 24% increase of cars on the roads. The numbers were astronomical. It was in Crane's magazine, and I just couldn't get over it. New York City, it's big, but it ain't that big. And we already have traffic issues. Some people are wondering if this is going to go down the road. I personally think it's a big effect of COVID, right? Because if I had children going into the city on a regular basis for college or brand new to the workforce, there's two things that would stop me currently from wanting them to get on mass transit. One is homeless, two is crime, and three is COVID. And in that order. The crime is rampant to a certain extent. It's getting worse. We all know that. The homeless situation is out of control throughout New York City. So if you live in the suburbs, it costs you a minimum of $500 a month between the railroad and then the mass transit. If you could get your kid a commuter car now, who knows, but you could lease a car for $250 a month, insurance another $250. You're in the same boat. Yes, you have to pay for gas, but what would you rather do for a young child, either going to college, commuting, or new to the workforce and commuting? You would get them a car. I would. That number has increased with all the new bike lanes and all the 2-lane highways that are now 1 lane. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. You ready? When's the last time you got on the train? Ed used to take the train always to teach.
Yeah, it was lovely. You get on the train, you sit there, read a book for 45 minutes, you get off, and you get in the car, and it's between an hour and a half and 2 hours. I would say a good half of that time is spent cursing. And then you got to pay, I got this thing, Spot Hero, yeah. So I reduced my thing from $50 to $30 with Spot Hero.
Plus you got to pay for the toll, or you going over the 59th Street Bridge or the Brooklyn Bridge?
No. In order to cut down the time, I go up Ocean Parkway, and I go in through and I go up the west side. And that cuts the time down to about an hour and 20 minutes.
So let's do some...
Less cursing.
Let's do some money on this. So you used to take $2.75 each way, which
half price. I got my
okay, so
special.
Fine. You used to pay $2.75 round trip.
Yeah.
Now you're paying $12.50.
Yeah.
Plus you're spending double the time.
Yeah.
Plus gas.
Yeah, and don't forget the parking.
Plus parking, right. So you went from $2.75 to about $90.
Really?
$30 for the parking, $12. All right, Mel.
$42.
Gas.
Okay, so $60.
$60. So what's
60.
that? 2,000, 3,000 increase?
It's a big increase, and
Well, no, 300. It's about a 300% increase.
Remember, I'm going to have to call what's her name. The stress level is very high. I'm going to have to go to Charlene, see if she could help me. Anyway, and taking the train is more than just taking the train. You start to learn different neighborhoods, different people get on Canal Street.
It's a fun people watching experience, and it's
And once in
almost
a while-
enjoyable. Driving into the city is not enjoyable.
Every once in a while, you get a very attractive woman. Come on, you dream. Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. This has been a lively and informative conversation today. And until we meet again, God bless you.
It's always good catching up with ES. Stay tuned. Season 3 is upon us, and I look forward to seeing some of you in person this year. Take care.
All the training tools, they're not the same. We need digital learning made to suit pest management professionals. Simpler, friendlier, and less intimidating. Find it out on Nobe. That's GNOWBE.
We're meeting with the HR experts from Insperity coming up shortly, so we need you to let us know what your questions are. Email us at colonyconfidential@gmail.com, DM us, those of you that have my cell phone, text me, whatever. We want to get your questions answered. For those of you that have come over and hired Insperity, you already know what I'm talking about. You don't have to guess anymore. It's a beautiful thing. And for those of you that are not, please submit your questions. We will ask them.
This is Ed and Joe, and you're listening to Colony Confidential. Every week we have a new episode. You should be listening every week if you really care about your business.
Learn how to build, grow, sustain, and be profitable in your business.